Hello and welcome to Rotarian. My name is Bill Dindy, past District Governor of District 5810 in North Texas. And I'm here today to talk about a challenge for a lot of Rotary clubs, and that is, how do we as a local club do an international project? And for those of you who are doing international projects, you may not realize how daunting this can be to those who don't yet have their signature international project. We're so blessed today to have a guest that helped us as a district do some good work in other countries, but has also helped multiple clubs create international projects and to join her and her club in the projects they do. And that's probably one of the best ways to start an international project, is to find somebody that's already doing something that you're interested in and asking them how you can participate. You can either join their projects or create your own. And so it's with a great joy and pleasure I introduce to you my friend and fellow Rotarian, an attorney for the city, but by heart, and by night, and by passion. And I'm pleased to introduce you today a true friend and a true Rotarian that has done so much good work in the Caribbean country of Jamaica, who's ready to share with you how she helped us as a district and other clubs and other Rotarians find their international calling. With us today is Miss Regina Edwards. Regina, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you. I'm excited.
Now, you are within our district kind of known as a guru of Jamaica, and your club, when we talk about international projects,
Right.
they always say, talk to Regina. Why is that? What happened?
So in October of 2003, our family went on a vacation, and I emailed to visit a club, and the woman noticed my email ended in cityof.com, right, a specific city, and she asked me if I work for a city. I said, I do. And she goes, oh, I'm a council member in Montego Bay. I said, that's nice. So we kind of had this connection. And then she just point blank asked me, she said, do you all ever do any kind of international service mission trips and bring things? And I said, no, we've never done that, but I can check into that. My brother's a surgeon, and tell me what you need. And she said, we always need medical supplies. So that literally began this 16-and-a-half-year relationship of our club has delivered medical supplies, and now we also do school supplies and other things too. But it just started a relationship.
Fantastic. And how many times have you now traveled to Jamaica to do delivery of medical supplies or some other mission work?
I've personally been 15 times.
15 times?
Right.
And so
about once a year. I try to go about once a year.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
And the person that contacted you, was she a Rotarian?
She was in the Montego Bay Rotary Club. So it just started out with a visit. I like to go visit clubs when I'm on vacation, and it was just about, where do you meet, how do I come to visit?
All right.
And it turned into this.
There's hint number one. When traveling.
Right. Go meet people.
Absolutely.
Right.
Contact the Rotary
Right.
clubs. Ask if you come visit.
Right.
And you may find out that they do need a partner
Right.
in the U.S.
Right.
to do some of the things they want to do. I think
Right.
that's beautiful.
Right.
But since that time, you've been doing the work for your club, but it's your passion.
Right.
And I guess their participation. Tell us about some of the things y'all do.
So like I said, originally we mainly did medical supplies. We've had two different groups. There used to be a group in Dallas called Medicend, and they would give us a lot of medical supplies. And then now we use Baylor Scott and White Hospital. They have a Faith in Action initiatives, and they donate supplies to us. So we basically, America just has so much excess, and we've taken everything. We've taken EKG machines on carts. My brother is actually an ENT surgeon. He donated an audio booth. So when we did the 2017 cruise, we took an 800-pound audio booth down there, and then we've just taken thousands of gloves and syringes and gauze and everything you can think of, thousands of pounds of things.
Well, I love the Faith in Action group.
Yes.
And they've helped us several times in other countries.
Right.
Gain the supplies that were needed.
Right.
That we've donated all over the world.
Right.
And I think Baylor Scott and White and
Right.
Other groups locally are thrilled.
They love to give, right.
And to know that it's going to be placed in the hands of those who need it.
Right.
And that's a neat thing with working with local Rotarians.
Right.
As you do your mission.
And they love, so we've done 2 cruises, because you can take 5,000 pounds worth of stuff.
Let's district-wide for
Right.
our district conference.
Right.
We decided we were going to do some service work
Right.
and have some fun.
Right. It was awesome.
So we did a district conference cruise
Right.
that visited countries like
Mexico and Jamaica.
Cozumel, Mexico,
Right.
where we had a Rotary Club already working in Cozumel, Mexico.
Right.
And so we were able to partner with the Rotary Club in Cozumel and the Rotary Club locally that already has a presence, figure out what they really want,
Right.
and then bring several hundred people from the
Right.
district to do work hands-on in Cozumel. We had 3 projects
Right.
in Cozumel, which was phenomenal. So you had a service day, one of the days of the conference, where people got off in Cozumel and they could pick. They could go to the beach if they wanted to, but most of our Rotarians
Right. They all chose to go.
picked a service project to go to.
Right.
I love that.
It was great.
And 3 different service projects, almost unheard of. But we also went to Jamaica. And how many service projects did you set up in Jamaica for us?
We did 5 tours went out with everybody divided up so we didn't overwhelm the school with 200 people. So we had five different buses that went to different locations, and our district and several clubs sponsored water tanks. So the main purpose was to go visit the water tanks and then also to deliver school supplies and books.
I loved it. And one of the cool things about going on a cruise ship,
Right.
as our people that go to Cozumel regularly will attest to, is that these cruise lines, I'm so grateful to Carnival Cruise Lines, to Norwegian Cruise Lines,
Right.
for providing us the ability to take
Royal
these
Caribbean,
supplies.
right.
If we can get them down to
Right.
Galveston or to the Port of Houston
Right.
or to New Orleans,
Right.
they will put them in the ship. And we had
5,000 pounds.
5,000 pounds, several forklifts worth of supplies headed to Jamaica.
Right.
And when we got to Jamaica, the port authorities were there to visit us.
Right.
But you made some big contacts within Jamaica
did.
itself.
I went
And,
3 times before the boat landed to make sure that because you're only in port, like 8 hours, right? So I made 3 visits down there to go to the Port Authority and to talk to the hospitals and talk to the schools and talk to everybody and also assess the needs. One thing you got to remember when you do these projects, because we've done them so long, is it's like running your business. You need to do a needs assessment. You can't just assume what you did last year is good this year. You have to keep up the contacts. And I keep asking the hospital, like, send me your wish list. What do you want?
Well, tell me about Mr. C. In fact, I think we've even got a picture of Mr. C
We have
to
a
share
picture
with
of Mr.
everybody.
C.
But
Okay.
tell me about Mr. C, because he's been so
He has.
instrumental in making sure that we're meeting the need where
Right.
we are. What has he done in the past? And
Right.
tell me some of the...
So his name is Bakwan Shagwani, and when my kids were little, we could not say that. So we just call him Mr. C, because it's easy. And he's basically almost like a grandfather to my kids, because my kids have known them pretty much their whole lives, and he's so sweet. They treat my kids so well. And he's been president of the Montego Bay Club, but mainly he's been their international service director for many years. So he's now left and he lives in Miami, but for, I don't know, probably 13 of those trips, he was our main contact down there. And he is great being in touch with the hospital, and then we also support 2 disabled children's homes. And he will physically drive over there and talk to them and make sure everything's fine. He would always arrange all the transportation, because when you land, either Southwest gives us also free baggage. I take a lot of boxes on Southwest, and you got to have a truck ready. So when I show up with 5,000 pounds, or if I show up with just 15 boxes, he's great about having transportation ready. And one reason I've been told that people have donated so much to us all these years is I personally take the stuff to the recipient. So I take a photo like in the hospital lobby or in front of the school or wherever it is. So our donors never worry about the black market, it got lost in customs, anything like that. In fact, Mr. C used to come in and go through customs with me. So we get everything through customs. You got to plan that ahead of time, by the way.
And that's another key point.
It takes work.
For those of you who want to do this on your own, you really do have to know the custom rules. The rules
Yes, or you'll lose your stuff in customs.
It happens all the time.
Yes.
We hear the sad
The
stories.
first trip, I didn't know any of that. It was before Mr. C, and I went through customs, and it's this crazy story. I've got a 15-month-old baby and my husband, and we don't have any paperwork, and I went from And luckily Jamaica's English, so at least it's in English. But at first I was telling them it's all fabulous stuff, so they would let it in, because we brought 2 wheelchairs and the biggest box of medical supplies. At first I'm saying, oh, it's great stuff. And then you have to pay duty on it. And I'm trying to discount, oh, it's only worth $200. So it's not worth very much, because then you have to pay for it.
And you can avoid a lot of that.
But you can avoid all of that and that 2 hours in customs if you have the local contacts and you fill out. So we've learned you do a detailed manifest. So every box, every item in every box is on a manifest. So if I take 15 boxes, every item. So customs now knows us, and we've been so many times. So that's the key to getting your stuff into another country.
So if you're going to do this yourself,
right.
Also keep in mind, it does take several pre-visits to have a successful group trip.
Yeah.
I've heard of so many times where we didn't know what we didn't know, and then we've got 20 people following us, not knowing what we don't know. You want to make the trips ahead of time and understand how customs work. And oftentimes, having somebody on the other side can facilitate things. We had people meet us with forklifts at the dock and load them right into trucks that were waiting at the dock.
Right.
And normally that's a process that can even take a day or 2 to get done if you haven't certified these things with your manifest.
Right.
And I think we got a picture of boxes of supplies and your Southwest Airlines agent who would unload things at the dock and get it there.
So this is at Love Field in Dallas. And so same thing, I always tell them ahead. They don't need a manifest, but they know that was all school supplies. So they know ahead of time. And I tell them, how many boxes, what they all weigh. You always have to meet the airline guidelines if it's 50 pounds. So, we follow all the rules, and
they're not charging you for each box.
They didn't charge me.
They donated this.
But you have to coordinate. Like, I buy my tickets. I pay for all my own travel. You just got to coordinate all this ahead of time. You can't just show up with all this stuff.
Absolutely.
So.
But we have great partners in Dallas-Fort Worth area. American Airlines, Southwest Airlines, the cruise ships down in Galveston and New Orleans. They're great partners. They give so much if you'll just take the time to coordinate with their personnel. So I think that's a wonderful thing that you're able to do. And
that's great.
You're in one country, Jamaica.
Right.
Have you ever thought that maybe you should be spreading it around a little bit?
We've done a couple other countries, but we just keep going back to Jamaica.
And tell me why you keep going back to Jamaica.
Well, it's just, I've built relationships. So literally over 16 years, like one of the past presidents down there, she's a past assistant governor like I am, and she's literally, we call each other sisters, and she's of Indian descent, and then she lives in Jamaica, so people always kind of look at us because we look very different, obviously, and we always introduce each other as sisters because we really feel like we're sisters after all these years. I've stayed in her home many times. It's just great relationships that I've built up with several people in that club. So when I come down there, it's like they call me a Jamaican, I guess. Jamaican.
And your children are practically naturalized.
And my kids have been several
times. Their first visits were at, what, 9 months old?
Well, Luke was 9 months, and then Austin was 15 months. So.
And they've been going back
year after year, right? So we figured out Luke has been 8 times and Austin's been 10 times, and now they're 15 and 17. So pretty much once a year we try, or once every other year, I guess we try to go with them.
And the needs are so great.
It is. And so what I tell people, I actually had a principal ask me one time, she said my youngest was so good with a couple of the kids in the school that had Downs. And she asked me, she's like, why is your son so good with those kids? And the only thing I could figure out is he's grown up going to the 2 disabled children's homes that we support. So basically, they're people in Jamaica who can't afford, obviously, medical bills and things, and even the care it takes for a child with spinal bifida or muscular dystrophy or, extreme autism or something like that. There's 2 homes that we support called Blessed Assurance, and there's another one called West Haven. We've been going there for years. And my kids have visited there several times. And they're like children you never see in America. You haven't seen children with that extreme disabilities. And I truly think because my kids have been exposed to that, they just have that empathy and they just understand. And a principal noticed. I mean, that's how much it's impacted my children.
I think that's beautiful.
It is.
And I think that's one of the joy of.
It is. As a parent, you think, okay, because you're not sure, right? Am I doing this right? And then somebody will comment like that. You're like, okay, I guess I did that okay then, right?
Absolutely. And it's not just the children. I mean, as a Rotarian, I like to know that we're doing good work.
Right.
But to actually go and see the work that we're doing,
Right.
and seeing the people that we're impacting,
Right.
that's wonderful. And then to go to some place like Jamaica,
Right.
where I can enjoy a beautiful
It's
white
pretty
sand
too, right?
beach
It's pretty.
and a red stripe and all the good things around.
Right.
I mean, I think we all like to travel.
Right.
But to travel and do some good work when you get there,
Right.
that's sublime.
Right.
And you've
We try to do that. So when we take the kids, we usually try to go for a week, and we do half Rotary, which is visits to the children's homes, and we go to schools and things like that. So we do that for a week. Like one time we built wheelchairs. It was a great project. We built several wheelchairs, and they were customized per child, and then we delivered them to the disabled children's homes. And then the other half of the week, we try to go to the beach and just have a family vacation.
I
So
love
that's
it.
our balance. But now when I go by myself, I usually don't go to the beach. I just go stay at Michelle's or stay at a friend's, and then I just do all Rotary.
Regina, I know that you've done all this good work in the past with the water tanks and with the books and the medical supplies. But for those who are viewing who'd like to help out right now, what are the projects that the Rotarians in Montego Bay are asking for right now?
Okay, well, like I said, you always check so you don't make assumptions. So I actually spoke to Dominica today, and she said that they're always looking for people to sponsor children at the School for the Deaf. It's right outside of Montego Bay. A lot of the kids come from needy families, and they can't really afford the tuition and the books and the boarding. So I think it's around $400 per child per year if you want to sponsor a child at the School for the Deaf. You can also do water tanks, like we talked about earlier. They're about $1,000 each if you're interested in doing a water project. There's always Blessed Assurance in West Haven. That's the two children's homes that we talked about. They always need things. They also sponsor what's called Hebron House. It's a safe refuge. There's a lot of women who are fleeing domestic violence. Some have children and some don't. They're always looking for donations for Hebron House. And then last, she said they always have high school kids who also need sponsorship. So if you'd like to adopt a high school child, then you can sponsor one of them too.
Wonderful. And some of that, I know, will touch the hearts of
Yeah.
those who are with us here today.
Right. And it's all, like she said, one thing about this is it's very one-on-one. Like they will personally go deliver the check to the school and meet the kids and know that they're staying on track. And the club that we work with, when you're looking for a club, make sure they're very hands-on, that they're actually checking on the projects and things like that. They're not just mailing a check.
I know that several years ago we had the Rotary International President visit Jamaica. He did a group installation for a group of governors coming in, and
Right.
they worked with ocular needs, and they said diabetes is a major concern.
It really is. It really is.
And they were looking for hyperbariatric chambers, and they were looking
Right.
for oxygen concentrators, and
Right.
anything to deal with even limb loss. They were talking
Right.
about using the Japar limb
Yeah. Right.
methodology. So there's always seems to be
There are
a
a lot of
need
needs.
there.
Right.
But then to get the money working there, that's a challenge for some clubs. But
Right.
it's easy if you'll partner up with somebody who's
Right.
doing it. You brought some pictures of
I did. I brought some
family, and your children have been involved
Right.
in doing this for years, but they've also raised money at their schools and
They
stuff
have,
for
right?
missionary work. Would you share
Right.
your?
Okay, so the first one is my second son. When he was in kindergarten, we were getting ready to go on a trip, and the kids decided they want to help. So we came up with this. This was literally, I can't believe, almost 10 years ago we did this. And we decided to hang this up. It was at a little pre-K place. And these are my two kids, probably the year before. And this is a previous trip of all the medical supplies. This is in the lobby of the big hospital that they have there. That's a big charity hospital. And this was my son at the time.
So this is a decade ago.
This is almost a decade ago, right?
How old is this son now?
This son is now 15
Okay.
and 6'4".
Okay.
So this is a picture of my husband and I in front of the hospital. And then we put this picture on here because it was this child's first trip. His first trip, he was 9 months.
9 months old.
So this was his first trip. So this was like a sign we put up, and they put boxes out at this preschool, and kids donated stuffed animals and diapers and things like that, just to kind of get the kids involved.
Well, it doesn't take a whole lot.
It doesn't
and
take
sure
a whole
is
lot.
appreciated.
It doesn't. And so we had a ton of donations based on this. And so my kids have literally been involved their whole lives, I guess you would say, right?
I think that's
So,
wonderful.
it's
and I
great.
think that's the joy of involvement. And I know that
Right.
you've got kids basketball coming up today, but I'm grateful
Right.
you took some time to stop by and talk to us about, I don't know, your passion
It is.
for doing international projects, particularly in Jamaica. And for those of us who have an interest in working with you, I trust that we can contact you in the
Yes, you
future.
can.
You can
Yes.
contact us at Rotarian to Rotarian,
Right.
and we will be able to connect you to
Yeah.
doing this good work. But it's being done with so many different places,
Yes.
and it just basically starts with that seed of desire to communicate with others and to serve those when we get there.
Right.
And you are just the
thank
epitome
you.
of what a great Rotarian should be doing.
Well, thank you. Once you go, though, I always tell people, once you go, you'll understand. Once you hold these kids and see their joy, and just it's a connection. So once you go, you'll get it.
Well, I know they're blessed to have you, and we're
thank you.
truly blessed to have
Oh,
you
thank you.
as a fellow Rotarian.
Thank you. I've
Jan, it's
enjoyed
been
it.
great having you. And it's been great for all of y'all joining us here today as well. If we can be of service, let us know. Always yours in service.